Hi, hello, and welcome, or welcome back, I suppose. I know, weird, you're seeing my face. But, basically, last week got kind of busy and got ahead of me, so I didn't end up finishing my book in time. I'm quite close to getting it finished, so you'll still have it by next week, but instead, you're seeing my lovely, gorgeous egghead, and we're going to do a book haul, because recently I was at my local market, because there was a wrestling event on, and I got drawn in by a book stall that's there, which is basically like I think it's a charity one, and it's all run on sort of like good faith, where you can just go in there, every book's £1, and it's all self-service. There's nobody actually, like, strictly speaking, running it. And I thought I had like a fiver in change, didn't, and I'd already picked up 5 books, so I checked my wallet, because that's how I found out that I didn't, and was like, but I do have a £10 note. So I got 10 books. Here we go. You can see my good collection here. I think that's everything. Is it all? Yeah. Got OBS open. Because that's... I don't even know how much you can hear me. But, what's wrong with my head? Why is that so red? Anyway, I don't know how well you can hear me, but yes, I got a good collection there, and we're going to go through them. These first 2 are gifts. There we go. You can see them both there. So we have Alice in Wonderland and Alice Through the Looking Glass. I don't know if I did that the right way around, but these 2 are gifts for my friend who collects mostly versions of Alice in Wonderland, but I know they would like both of them, and there was no way I could just I was no way I was just getting one of them. So they're very pretty. They're really nice illustrated versions. I don't know if the insides are illustrated. I don't think so. Oh, did I just see something? Yeah, there are some illustrations in here as well. Oh, that's lovely. Yeah, they'll love that. Brilliant. Where can I put the books that I've already been through? You know what? I've just got to trust that I don't knock the cable off when my phone is connected to my computer. Next up, we have The Psychology of Time Travel by Kate Mascarenhas. Apologies if that is not pronounced properly. I have seen this before at my library, and I think I had it borrowed, but I just had too much to read, and I didn't end up finishing it. Not finishing it, I didn't end up getting to it. I will read you the blurb. I don't know how long this video is going to be. It's just a bit of a ramble. It's a bit of a look at what we've got in it. 1967, 4 female scientists invent a time travel machine, but then one of them suffers a public breakdown and puts the whole project in peril. 2017, Ruby knows her Granny B was a scientist who went mad, but they never talk about it, until they receive a message from the future warning of an elderly woman's violent death. 2018, Odette found the dead woman at work. Shot in the head, door bolted from the inside. Now she can't get her out of her mind. Who was she, and why is everyone determined to cover up her murder? I read that awfully, but yeah, it's an interesting sort of thriller with some sci-fi aspects. I'm very interested in it. Well, I think it's a thriller. It's got that energy to it. At least there's got some crime stuff involved. Next up is The Chrysalids by John Wyndham, who did The Day of the Triffid, which I need to read. I feel like I've read something else by John. It's on the back. Midwich Cuckoos. I read for my Iron Maiden video, maybe? I remember enjoying it. But, yeah, I need to read The Day of the Triffids. And I also just read the blurb of this and was like, oh, that sounds so strange. I need to read this. David Strom's father doesn't approve of Angus Morton's unusually large horses, calling them blasphemies against nature. Immediately I was bought in. Immediately. Little does he realise that his own son and his son's cousin Rosalind and their friends have their own secret aberration which would label them as mutants. But as David and Rosalind grow older, it becomes more difficult to conceal their differences from the village elders. Soon they face a choice. Wait for the eventual discovery, or flee to the terrifying and mutable Badlands. That sounds so cool. Immediately they were like, oh, we're giant horses. I'm like, bought in. Next up we have the Mabinogion. I am not reading the entire blurb of this because it's massive, but it's, I believe, a collection of Welsh myth, which I always meant to get onto while I was living there. for university. This version is translated by Gwyn Jones and Thomas Jones. There are many editions. I don't know if this is a preferable one, but I'm hoping so, because different translations and there's going to be, different aspects of it, but I'm hoping... Oh, they're both from Aberystwyth. Not from Aberystwyth, but they were both... Oh, one of them is. Gwyn Jones was a professor at Aberystwyth, and Thomas Jones was a professor at Cardiff. So, I trust them if they're at Aberystwyth. Next up, we have Wild Spark by Vashti Hardy. I think this is a children's book, like middle grade, but the theme of it sounds fascinating, and I'm hoping it's a bit more like when I read The Murderer's Ape. I'm hoping it's a bit more like, yes, it is for children, but this is just a good story kind of thing. In Medlock, machines don't come to life. Life comes to machines. Prue Haywood is on a mission, getting the ghost machines of Medlock to remember the people they used to be. She needs to find her brother, Francis. If she fails, her brother will stay dead, and if she succeeds, all of society may fall apart. From the acclaimed author of Brightstorm comes a new breathtaking world to discover. Yeah, it just seemed very interesting, and I'm looking at the inside, which I did, I think, when I was there, and yeah, it looks like it is meant for a younger reader, just like the text is a bit bigger, it's more sort of centralized rather than filling up most of the page, but it just sounded like a really interesting story, so I figured why not give it a go. Next up, Heatstroke by Hazel Barkworth. Rachel and her daughter have never had secrets until now. Lily is somewhere she shouldn't be, with someone she shouldn't be with. Mia misses her best friend, but she let her down. In the middle of a stifling heatwave, the three of them stand on the edge of irrevocable change. By the end, one burning question will remain. How could she let things get this far? Something caught in my throat there. Seems interesting. It seems like the sort of thing where it is probably going to emotionally ruin me, which I do love. Obviously recently read Nightcrawling, which I don't imagine that's going to be as nightmarish for me as that was such a good book, but oh my god. Next up, if I see a Lucy Diamond book, I'm picking it up, because God love this woman, I love the things that she does, and this time we have Sweet Temptation. Maddie's getting it from all sides. Her bitchy boss at the radio station humiliates her live on air. Her glamour-puss mum keeps dropping hints that she should lose weight, like signing her up for the gym, and her kids are embarrassed to be seen with her after the disastrous mum's race at their sports day. Something's got to change. Maddie reluctantly joins the local weight-watching group, where she finds two unlikely allies. Jess, who is desperate to fit into a size 10 wedding dress for her big day, and Lauren, who, despite running a dating agency, has signed off romance forever. Or so she thinks. As they all count calories, new friendships develop and secrets are shared, but can they resist temptation? So, hopefully, things are normal about the weight side of things in this. It looks like one of her older books, because it's not got the cover of, like, all of her newer stuff has a really consistent cover style. But I have one of her older books, which is The Secrets of Happiness, or The Secret of Happiness, I think it is. And this one, which has more of a similar... They both have similar covers, so I think they're older ones. I don't know if they're from the same publisher. Yeah, they're different publishers, so interesting. But yeah, hopefully that isn't too Bridget Jones. I really liked Bridget Jones. I read that... God... I read that for a Bad Rip Book Club when I was still... Well, I think that was when I was working with Bits, Bobs and Books, of volunteering with them. And I really liked the book, but the weight stuff is a product of its time, for sure. And I'm going to be honest, not to sidetrack, but the thing with that is that it not only is a product of its time, but it is also very clearly a woman who, like, I think some people are a bit surface level with it, where it's like, oh, but it's toxic. It's like, yeah, and it's obviously toxic within the book itself. Like, the whole, like, there's a huge message part of it where it's like, I love you just the way that you are. You don't need to keep trying to force yourself to go through these changes. And yet, here she is. Next up, The Gods of Love by Nicola Mostyn. I was drawn in by the cover. I thought that was really cool. I am very much hoping that this is not, I will say, too smutty if it has got some of that in it, but it's only because I fear fantasy romance, because the book talk fantasy romance girlies scare me, because I don't need any of that. Meet Frida, divorce lawyer, cynic, and secret descendant of the immortal love god, Eros. She's about to have a really bad day when a man named Dan bursts into Frida's office and insists that she is fated to save the world. She has him ejected faster than you can say prenup. But an attempted kidnapping and an undeniable demon or three later, Frida is beginning to face the inconvenient truth. Dan is in fact the Oracle. The gods of Greek mythology are real, and Frida herself appears to be everyone's only hope. Seems like it's interesting, but like I said, my fear is, my god, is this? I tried flicking through and I didn't see any Bingus's present, so hopefully that remains to be the case. I'm not interested in it. Anytime I'm reading something that is smutty, it's for review, because a lot of it comes under the Bad Rep Book Club umbrella, because a lot of it is bad. And last up, we have The Woman in Cabin 10 by Ruth Ware. I think it's called In a Dark Wood, or A Dark Wood. I read a couple of years ago and I loved it, and I said at the time I'm going to read way more Ruth Ware, and then I didn't. But I remember loving the way she writes crime, so I am very much looking forward to that. I didn't read the blurb for you there. This was meant to be the perfect trip. The Northern Lights, a luxury press launch on a boutique cruise ship. A chance for travel journalist Lo Blacklock to recover from a traumatic break-in that has left her on the verge of collapse. Except things don't go as planned. Woken in the night by screams, Lo rushes to the window to see a body thrown overboard from her next door cabin. But the records show that no one ever checked into that cabin, and no passengers are missing from the boat. Exhausted and emotional, Lo has to face the fact that she may have made a mistake. Either that, or she is now trapped on a boat with a murderer. That sounds so interesting. That sounds so Agatha Christie. That, like, the energy of, like, oh, but there is nobody checked in there. That absolutely feels like it's going to fit that kind of vibe, I guess. But yeah, I love the, like, oh, is there actually anybody on board? And obviously, of course, there will be, but, like, nobody's actually checked in there. It feels kind of Ghost Story, except I don't imagine that's where she's going to go. But the sort of crossover energy of a lot of crime stuff and ghost stories, they're told in very similar ways, so I hope she really captures that. But yeah, I've got 8 new books to read for myself and 2 books for my friend to treat myself. And yeah, I've decided that I've got like a big bag by me, where I have my upcoming books, and I've decided, if I can find them, here they are, that I am adding the chrysalids and the psychology of time travel into that bag, so that they're going to be read in the somewhat near future. That bag is rather full. It has some books from my shelf, some books from the library, and I'm sort of picking and choosing as I'm going. But yeah, I want these 2 to both be read quite soon, because, like I said, quite soon doesn't mean anything to me, but these are the 2 that I think I'm most excited for out of all of them. Like, the chrysalids just sounds so odd and so strange. And if I remember rightly, Wyndham was writing about, like, the 60s? Let me see if I can find the 50s, my mistake. So, like, it's got a very interesting writing style just because it's got like a formality to it, if I recall from Midditch Cuckoos. Yeah. And the psychology of time travel just seems like a very strange way of bringing different genres together, and I'm very fascinated. But yeah, you will see these at some point. God knows when, because this is me, and there are so many books to read, but I cleared out a load from my bookshelf recently, so now all of my books actually fit on my bookshelf. There's no stacking anymore, and that includes all of this lot, so I'm very pleased with that. I mean, there are obviously some books in my bag that are from my shelf, but not all of those are going to end up back on my shelf anyway, because at least one of the books in there is for Bad Rep Book Club, and I can near guarantee it's going to be ass. And I'm probably just going to donate it to charity at some point. So yeah, next week we'll be back to your regularly scheduled programming with a review, but we just had something a little bit different this week, so I can make sure I'm still regularly uploading. Why is my voice just betraying me today? Nothing feels right. He has 6 toes. I have a feeling that's done on purpose. That sounds like a weird thing to just say out of context, but look, he's got... Am I insane? He's got 6 toes. I mean, this is clearly something about mutations and stuff, so... This is a bit early for, like, nuclear stuff. It's more like 60s and later, isn't it? So... I mean, I understand that we already had nuclear bombings and things like that by the 50s, but in my head it's the 60s where we start seeing a lot more like nuclear fiction and that kind of thing, so I'd be interested to see if that's where that goes. That would make sense, actually, thinking about it. Sort of post-war type thing. But yeah, I got distracted by that man's weird feet. Take from that what you will. Yeah, next week back to your regular stuff. I just needed to make sure I was still regularly getting stuff out for you this week. And yeah, feel free to like, feel free to subscribe, and feel free to ring that notification bell. All the cringe shit I'm supposed to ask you to do at the end of my videos, or at least at some point in my videos. And frankly, most importantly, I hope you have a wonderful day, a wonderful night, a wonderful whenever you are watching this. Take good care of yourself. Right.